Welcome to the League of Legends Champions Spotlight, featuring Sejuani, the Winter's Wrath. Sejuani is a mobile tank who specializes in slowing and disrupting the enemy team. Through a variety of crowd control effects and constant damage, Sejuani makes her opponents choose between getting worn down or spending tons of effort just to push her away. Sejuani's passive is Frost. All of Sejuani's basic attacks apply Frost, which slows her target's movement speed for a short time. Arctic Assault causes Sejuani to dash in target direction, damaging and additionally applying Frost to all enemies she hits. If Sejuani hits a champion with Arctic Assault, she immediately stops the dash. I take rank 1 of Arctic Assault at level 2, maxing it out by level 13. Northern Winds damages all enemies around Sejuani every second for a few seconds. Enemies afflicted with Frost take even more damage. I take Northern Winds at level 1 when jungling and max it last. Permafrost converts the frost on nearby enemies to permafrost, dealing damage and increasing the slow. Targets suffering from permafrost still count as frosted and take bonus damage from Northern Winds. I take permafrost at level 3 and max it by level 9. Glacial Prison sends out a skill shot nuke that explodes at maximum range, or on the first enemy champion it hits. All enemies in the explosion are damaged, stunned, and given the frost debuff. A champion who is struck directly receives an even longer stun. On Summoner's Rift, Jungle Sejuani can best be described as a ganking jungler. You should try to gank more than you would on your average jungler. I head to the top lane behind Malzahar. I only activate Northern Winds, saving my other spells. After he flashes, Permafrost locks him up for Arctic Assault, picking up First Blood. Let's talk about counter-jungling. When fighting against junglers, your opponent's Ancient Golem will typically respawn a little after 7 minutes into the game, so I check to see if I can steal it. I ward the river below to watch for incoming ganks, and I scroll over to see Amumu hasn't picked up that buff. I keep an eye on the minimap, noticing that Amumu is still fighting at the bottom. Malzahar is still at top, but everyone else is missing. Remember that stealing a buff has no use if they just kill you and take it back, so make sure you have the ability to escape with your life when attempting counter-jungling. As soon as the golem falls, I immediately run down, which is exactly when Victor and Amumu come in to gank me. Arctic Assault and Flash barely create enough distance for me to escape with their buffs in hand. When ganks involve more than just one opponent, rely on Sejuani's crowd control to enable kills for your teammates. As I gank the bottom lane, I lead with Arctic Assault, using Permafrost to ruin Caitlyn's chances for escape. However, as she dodges Ashe's ultimate and exhausts me, I toss out Glacial Prison to ensure she falls. After, I turn to Dr. Mundo. Permafrost drops his movement speed, and once I'm sure my teammates can get the kill, Arctic Assault gets me out of turret range, picking up 2 kills with no losses. Sejuani's aptitude for consistent crowd control is unmatched. With only Ashe to help, I run in on 3 enemies. My first target is Malzahar, so by having Dr. Mundo and Amumu run at me, I can sneak by with Arctic Assault. Between Permafrost and Northern Winds, Malzahar quickly dies. I want to head in to help Ashe, so I kite Dr. Mundo into like an Arctic Assault over the wall. Seeing Amumu running, Glacial Prison scares him into flashing a little bit too early and failing his escape. Though he has a lead on us, Arctic Assault catches up to Dr. Mundo. The combination of Frozen Mallet and Permafrost completely shut down his ability to chase down Ashe, giving us our 3rd kill of the fight. Always try to disrupt and kill the frail backline champions. As a team fight starts, I have the perfect opportunity to jump Malzahar and Victor. Opening up with all my basic abilities threatens Malzahar enough to target me with his ultimate. Now out of crowd control, Shaco is set up for an easy kill. As we now have a numbers advantage, I lock up the rest of their team with Glacial Prison, allowing us to pounce onto Victor as well. Dr. Mundo now has to make his escape, but I pump out way too much slow for him to make it out. Seeing more enemies, I continue the charge, but have to run from Caitlyn as I'm low on health. However, I take a heal from Nidalee, so I head back in. Flash into Arctic Assault allows me to catch these 2 running enemies, giving us all 5 kills for only 1 death in the fight. On Dominion, Sejuani is basically a big bully. Pushing in on Lee Sin, he doesn't have any way to continue fighting my teammate. I guess on LeBlanc's position and just barely miss her in the Fog of War with Glacial Prison. I choose to push out and chase her down, although Rammus probably could have caught her by himself. However, we're able to quickly turn back onto Lee Sin, killing him before he's able to really move anywhere thanks to our combined crowd control effects and damage. Her durability also lets Sejuani charge into some fights before her team arrives. I head in on LeBlanc and Riven, stopping their captures of the refinery. I hunt down Riven, keeping her from escaping despite the champion's remarkable mobility. My slows enable the kill for Kassadin, and we regroup to take back the refinery. For runes, I take flat armor marks, flat armor seals, magic resist per level glyphs, and gold generation quintessences. This build is aimed at clearing the jungle with safety while setting up for late game durability and wealth. For jungling masteries, take 0, 17, 13, focusing on a few key stats. For jungle power, take the masteries that reduce and return damage to minions in defense, plus runic affinity in utility. To fulfill your role as a tank, grab armor, health, movement speed, and bonus gold wherever possible. Grab Smite and Flash for summoner spells, mastering both. On Dominion, or when not jungling in Classic, 121-8 works great. Swap minion-specific masteries in defense for further damage reduction, and swap your summoners for exhaust and heal, mastering both. In Classic, open with cloth armor and 5 health potions, quickly buying boots of speed so you can roam around and gank. Grab extra income through Philosopher's Stone and Heart of Gold, then transition into building more durability. Take Ninja Tabby or Mercury Treads depending on your opponents, and build Aegis of the Legion. From here, make some decisions in your build. Shirelia's Reverie grants extra mobility and team utility. Frozen Mallet will lock up individual targets. Force of Nature is excellent against magic damage, and Randuin's Omen is great against physical. In Dominion, all the same items are quite useful. Open with a Philosopher's Stone and Boots of Speed, and look for the same items as before. Take defensive boots to counter your opponents. Build as much durability as you'll need through items like Randuin's Omen and Odin's Veil, but try to build additional disruption, damage, and utility through Frozen Mallet, Sunfire Cape, and Shirelia's Reverie. Thanks for tuning in to the Sejuani Champion Spotlight. Please subscribe to the Riot Games YouTube channel above, and don't forget to thumbs us up just below the video.